Welcome back. A few videos ago I made a pork chop with artichokes, and somebody asked me if I had cooked those artichokes from scrap. I said no, I got them out of a can the easy way. They asked if I could do an artichoke demo, so here it is. So I think a lot of people are intimidated by the artichoke. I mean, why wouldn't you? The spiky little points, and they come in a can so easily, as I have already mentioned. And why buy them fresh? They're like, I think these were $3 a piece. Why buy them fresh if you can get a whole can for about the same price? It's because they're delicious. So I'm gonna demystify the artichoke. Sooner rather than later. I too am guilty of, I think what a lot of people do is they buy them with good intentions and then they let them sit around. It's been about a week since I bought these, so it's not in the best condition anymore. You can see it's starting to go a little dark up top. The leaves are even drying out. That's something we'll have to take care of too. And it's getting softer. But when you're going to buy them, obviously you want as bright of a green artichoke as you can. And you want the leaves to be compact and tight. You want the head to be pretty firm. If you didn't know, the artichoke is actually a flower. The choke, the part that we're going to get rid of, is in the very center. That's the purple part that we're not going to be eating. That actually becomes this really cool looking flower when they're in bloom. So we're gonna stop that, and we're gonna eat these. We're gonna eat these today for lunch. So these are the tools we're gonna need for the dispatching of the artichokes themselves to prep and cook. We're also gonna serve it with a little bit of a bacon, onion, maple jam kind of thing to dip in. So getting on with this bacon jam, we need bacon. But what I like to do, make sure it's really cold and bring it straight out of the freezer. When the fat is colder, it makes it easier to cut cleanly. Whereas when it's warm, I'm sure you've seen it, it's difficult and gets kind of streaky. I really should get a little napkin under my cutting board to make it stay. So I'm just gonna dice the bacon. Let's see how neat and clean it goes, just from making sure it was extra chilled before we cut. We're just gonna add a little bit of water to this. I know that seems counterproductive, but the French technique, lardon, which would normally have a thicker piece of bacon, like this would be the size of a single lardon if we were in France, like that. A little bit of water into there will help start to render that fat out, and then it eventually turns to steam and evaporates out of what we're making anyways. Alright, so let's handle the chokes. Just don't choke. Bad dad joke. Rhyming, alliterations. Something fishy. First thing we're gonna do, start taking out some of these dry outside leaves. You think it doesn't really look good? Just watch that, but I think I'm gonna make that garbage bowl. That's good. We're also going to, maybe one more. And we're gonna set it down and cut the top off. None of that's gonna be any good to eat anyways. I mentioned earlier the choke, that's gonna be down there. We're gonna handle that later. Actually, after they cook. The stem is delicious and edible. So all I'm going to do is trim off a little bit at the end, and then with either a small utility knife or a peeler, we're just going to peel the stem. Also, seeing as how flexible the stem is, that's just a little further proof that I probably should have taken care of these a couple days ago.
You want that to be firm and crispy when you're dealing with it. And then around the very base, just for cleanliness sakes, we're going to trim it up a bit. I kind of like to just cut inwards on it, and then down.
And you can start to see it's already starting to turn. So what we're going to do, while I have my knife in my hand, squeeze some lemon. I got in my sink behind the camera a bowl with water, just adding some lemon. We're going to put this guy, get that last little bit. See it turning brown already up here too. I'm going to get this last one in to the water. Alright, so one more time. Artichoke.
Dry leaves, maybe like 1 row or so around the outside.
So, mind you, this is just one way of cleaning an artichoke and preparing it for one specific type of serving. In this method, we're going to serve it whole, essentially. And we're going to peel these layers or these leaves off and dip them into our sauce when it's done. There's a little bit of meat or flesh on the bottom of the leaf. This was a style of recipe that was taught to me by my Skills 1 instructor in culinary school, Chef Jim Haywood, who has since passed on. But when we made this in class, we did it with like a red onion jam, which I don't have red onions. I have white, so those are going to go into our bacon jam next. Just that simple. Alright, the next step for this artichoke preparation is we're going to take the other bit of that lemon. I'm going to make 2 slices, I think is probably going to be sufficient. And grab my artichoke back out of the water. Yeah, this should be about the right size. See if we try and do this at the same time. Up, over, cross it the other way. Yeah, it's gonna look a lot cleaner than the first one I did. Almost looks like I know what I'm doing, right? Alright. We'll just cut that off later when we're ready to eat. Alright. Number 2. Let me get started on the chokes. Just turned it my double boiler. Steamer basket on top. So bacon's picking up some nice color. Swimming in a lot of that fat there. I'm just going to add an onion that I've pre-sliced. Actually, that was 2 small onions. Get that coated nicely in that fat. Start to let that wilt down. Excuse me, or sweat. What we're looking for is translucence and softness, but not really a ton of color in this case. So what I'm going to do is just make sure I have a lid on hand and kind of let that lean off a little bit. Just a little less. So a little bit of the steam can escape, but that extra steam in the lids can help cook that onion down without giving it a lot of color. Now we got some steam coming out of our pot. I hope he's, no, I guess we're going laying down. I'm just gonna turn off the video for now then and set myself a timer. I'm gonna look at 15 minutes and then we'll test them with a toothpick. While these are cooking, let's go see what the lady's up to. Ooh, the ladies. Alright. Yeah, see, this is what we're looking for. Let me go a little longer. You can see the onions are getting soft and translucent. Not real colory, but they're starting to like melt essentially right into that bacon and bacon fat. As I've been seasoning everything lately, this adobo, this boy adobo, it's got a little garlic powder in it, some salt, oregano. I think that should be good in there. Alright, the timer on the artichoke just went off, so let's check those out. I'm just going to transfer it for a second. Cake tester. So we're going right into, let me grab this, sorry if this is really wobbly. Get a look on this first. We're going to check out right in the base. Yeah, so I'm going to go maybe another 2-3 minutes on those. What I was feeling for is similar to a potato. It had a little bit of resistance going in. Still, I'm looking for just a touch less on that to make sure that we got a super tender artichoke. But so we're looking at like 15-18 minutes depending on the size of your artichoke. Let's get back to the jam. Most bacon jams that you'll find on the market have some kind of other jam included, usually a lot of a sweet element. I'm just going to use maple for this. This is Pennsylvania maple. Cute little jar, huh? Maybe a tablespoon of maple syrup in there just for a touch of sweetness. Maybe a teaspoon of whole grain mustard. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we need some kind of acidity to counteract all that acid, or sorry, all that fat that we had go in from the bacon itself. Plus, artichokes love acidity. Some other serving options would be like dipping them in Caesar dressing, or you could even at this point cool them down, cut them in half, and take off most of those leaves and the choke, and we could deep fry them. I'm just going to give this a real quick taste. I think it is pretty close. It just needs a little more lemon. Let's see if another lemon. You ever fork a lemon? Promise it works. Stick it and squeeze. New clean tasting spoon. Alright, so our chokes are cooked. Ready to eat. How do we finish them? Careful if you don't have dead hands. These are still hot. I think for the ease of cleaning or getting them ready for serving, I'm just gonna cut the stem off and cut through the string all at the same time. So now I'm just gonna use my fingers to kind of fan this out a bit. These center ones are definitely tender. Enough to eat. What we're looking for is the very, very center we want to get rid of. Very little in the way of chokes. We'll just put that in the bowl. This one, and so as you see, we're using a spoon. It should kind of pop itself right out with a little bit of finagling. And here goes the center. Yeah, this one, see, this one has more of that classic choke color, that purple. I mean, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but like it's literally got little spikes on the end of that purple. So that's not good eats. Sorry, I don't think I'm allowed to say that. That's not something you want to eat. Here we dig in closer, you'll see. There we are. Alright, focus. Focus. Anyways, those are the bits we don't want to eat. I want to dig out a few more of these. Get rid of them. You could also, if you felt like it, stuff this with anything really, and rebake it with some cheese on top. Maybe like a crab kind of filling if it wasn't locked down. Ooh, here's a good shot. The inside. All these fibers, that's the choke. That's the stuff we're going to avoid. A melon baller would also work right now if you had one. Alright, I think at this point we're good to go. We'll just be careful when we get to the center to make sure there's no pesky ones just hanging around. Yum. Now we eat. Ooh, I guess we need the jam too, right? Something for communal dipping. You just did your hair?
Yeah, I did my hair for my fans.
I did my hair for... Actually, it's a mess. Alright, so here's what we're doing. So we have the sauce. You could either...
Got this.
Yeah, you could either rip off these leaves and kind of just dip them in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of just scrape the little bit of meat off the outside. You're not really going to bite through it. You just kind of scrape your teeth. It's at this point more about the...
Like right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I could have gotten a bowl to put the eaten one, but you just kind of do that kind of thing. There's not much on there. There's not much left. The other thing we could do is when we get closer towards the center, we could, or even now, we could even just kind of turn our artichoke into its own bowl and fill the center. Just kind of dip out of that.
I like dipping.
Aren't all the best foods dipped and or on a stick?
Yes, and they all include bacon.
They do all include bacon. I knew there was a reason I married you. So, Ned, I hope this video helped. I hope maybe some of my friends from CIA had a nice trip down memory lane with this one too. And if there's any other videos that you'd like to see, any other vegetables that kind of scare you, make you nervous, keep you from buying them at the store, and you want some tips and tricks, let me know. Add it to the comments below. I've never done that before on a video.
Oh, nice.
Like pointed to something. I should also point to, like, you can add those things in the middle to redirect you to another video. I'm gonna put one of those in here. And then soon it's gonna cut to that like last screen where it like shows you an old video and then like the subscribe button and it says like and subscribe. That's where we'll do that there.
And if you want me to have my own channel, comment below.
No. You're not gonna do your own channel anyways, so why would you even get their hopes up?
Maybe I will.
Cheers guys, have a great day.